Oh, meal time. All righty. You ever copy the actual agenda for something? I think it was only one thing on the agenda.
Yeah, it was just
Here you go. I don't think there was building claims either. I think it's just budget workshop, right? I've got that. I meant the actual
the agenda.
agenda. Like the notice. Oh. Okay. Thank you.
Is this live?
Check, check, check. Check, check. Can I trade your microphones? This one's dead.
You can have it.
It's not connected. Yeah.
You gotta turn it on.
I don't know if the speaker's turned on.
Hit the mute button. Let's see.
Not the warpath.
Turn on.
One's out of order, two is.
No, I don't need to be heard anyways.
You ready?
If I need to be.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. It's 1:03 p.m. on July the 7th, 2026. This is a special meeting of Gillespie County Commissioners Court. We have one item on the agenda, which is budget workshop. I want to talk about notice for the meeting. There was a new statute adopted that requires when a governing body meets to discuss the budget or possibly adopt a budget, we have to also post a copy of the proposed budget and a taxpayer impact statement related to that proposed budget. As of today, there is no proposed budget. We're essentially working through each department, and we will have a proposed budget created as a result of these workshops. And so, so even though we are discussing a budget today, there is no proposed budget that was posted because one does not exist as of yet, and there's no taxpayer impact statement posted because that relies on the proposed budget. David, can you check and make sure all of the, some of our microphones aren't, I don't know if the speakers are turned on, but some of them aren't putting out any volume. All members of the Commissioners Court are present this morning. We have a schedule that's laid out. We'll try to stick to that as best we can. If you can move through your item faster, that's fine with us. We will, this is your opportunity to talk about the items that you put in your proposed budget. Talk about if you made any personnel requests. This would be also a time for you to address those as well. We do have copies of your proposed budget items that you submitted. We have copies of any personnel requests that were submitted. Anything else, Commissioners, you're able to add to that before we start moving down the line?
I would say that if, in order to stay timely, if you just speak to the deltas to your budget that are significant, if it's the same as last year, you can go through it pretty quick, so.
All right. We're going to go ahead and start our schedule then. We're a little bit behind, so we got to get moving.
Yeah, you already used 6 minutes of your time.
I'll make it up.
All right. The first department or office is Constable Precinct 1, Constable Moore. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Do y'all have a copy of my budget?
Yes.
All right, that's good to go. Thanks. I did go up a little bit on fuel and oil because when we were doing all this, the price was sky high. And I don't know if it's going to go down about 500 on that. The only other thing kind of outside, I did go down on a couple of things, training, a little bit on my postal expenses, but I'm just not using it. The only items that I put on here and added,
What's the department number?
I'm sorry?
What's this department number?
543.
543.
Your department number is 543.
Yeah. Let's see here, the automotive, the 5436004. Got the truck this last year and the, paint, Chuck?
Is it ringing or something?
My patrol truck up and running this last year. A couple of things that I did not have in the outfit when I came to y'all, I believe it was in, whenever it was, October, November, for the special funding for that because it wasn't in this year's budget. For the deck storage system in the bed, it's to keep things, I've got the bed cover on the bed, but it's a drawer system that's can be segmented off and put things in where they don't fly around the back of the truck. I think all y'all probably have a pickup or have had at one time or another. Things fly around, that's to keep that organized. And then because I'm not tall, running boards for the truck.
So that's the 3,700?
37, 31, 42.
Okay.
And incidentally, if I have money left over in this budget, I don't know if I have enough to get running boards, maybe do it in this year's fiscal budget. Wouldn't have to do that one, but that's just something I have to do. That's,
What's the thing, what's
You
the?
hearing that like
in the
squealing
bed?
noise? Are you hearing that? Like a dog noise?
You hear 1 hour?
Can I hear?
There's
These hearing aids going
a
off.
squeak, a loud squeaking.
they've actually people with hearing aids? Is that what I'm hearing?
We're hearing like a sound like the hearing aids.
My hearing aids are- Power down real fast. So I've got about a minute and a half left. You want me to go back through all of that, or did y'all get it?
What
So
is,
how much you running boards?
The running boards, for the item is $950, $496 for the installation. 3 hours is that's $300,
Yeah.
or 2.5 hours is $300.
So do you plan to do any training? Because you haven't seen the training budget. So.
I do, but I haven't gone to it yet.
Okay.
So it's up, I'm scheduled for it.
what is the other piece in the bed called?
The drawer system.
Deck-
Drawer system,
It's
deck
a
system.
deck bed storage system. I put a copy of it in there. And again, like I said, with the running boards, if I can find some that are, I wanted to get it in, so they have the same problem I had last year. If I can find some, that might put on that other shop, I can do that as well. like I said.
Make a copy of this. I have no further
You have any
questions.
questions for the constable?
You're the only constable with a pickup right now.
No, not actually. Precinct 2 owns one, but has not received it yet.
That's a
Oh, you got a Tahoe, okay. I just needed a new vehicle, sorry.
Anything else?
I'm good,
All right,
Consent is over.
that's all.
Thank you, Ken.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Commissioner.
I'm sorry, Constable.
And the headaches that go with it.
Yeah.
Good afternoon.
Probably speak loud enough that you can just hear me, but that's good. So besides the vehicle from last year, my budget kind of goes back to a mirror image from the previous years. I've added 2 things in 4409, I upped that from $1,000 to $1,250. I'm gonna try to buy some spikes and possibly a red dot for my handgun. And then the only other change would be 5601, new election year coming would be for the bond. Other than that, it's pretty much the same. I did email a letter to this court yesterday afternoon. I'm sorry it was so late. It is asking for a raise, and it's plural, having constables on it. I can only speak from my office. It gives you a little background on where the salaries initially came from, and I would respect any consideration from that down the road. If y'all ever have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I know I only have a few minutes here, so I'm done unless y'all have any questions.
On 5409, other rentals, you're going up a little over $1,000. What's that? For the radar, I guess?
I'm looking for, you said 5409?
Correct?
Second page.
Yes, that is for the radar, yes, sir.
I'm not trying to be sarcastic or anything, but does it get used?
It does. I use it daily. I do not make traffic stops daily. It is a great tool for me, where I live, where I commute to it from, the school out there. I do a lot of traffic out in front of the school, so yes, I use it. I don't make a lot of stops or even speeding tickets, but it's a tool I use. I know some of the guys that turn theirs in. I still feel strongly about doing it. I wish I had time to do traffic all day, one day a week, but I just don't have time. So it comes on an as-needed basis. Somebody's coming up fast behind me, they're gonna get pulled over, or they try to pass me. So, yes, it's not a moneymaker for my office, and I'm sorry for that. I wish I had time to spend a day a week writing tickets.
Well, when they say it's a tool, I mean, so you're stopping the people anyways.
Yes.
So a ticket doesn't take that much longer, does it?
Well, and you go fishing, you're gonna catch something, and so that's the issue. With our schedules, I have to be careful when I stop somebody. If I have a court schedule at 9 o'clock and it's 8:15 and I stop somebody, and if there's an arrest made, somebody's gonna have to scramble to get to court, cover that, so I'm trying to be responsible in that way. So.
Okay.
Hopefully that clarifies some things for you.
Yes, thank you.
And that's all I have.
I don't have any other questions.
Nothing else?
Thank you, Kenny.
Thank you. Constable Precinct 3.
Thank you.
Thank you. What's your department number?
551.
Good afternoon.
Yes, ma'am.
There's only a few changes that I've made or deleted from my budget this year. On 4201 fuel, I added 500 because we don't know how much the gas is gonna go down or not. The other change is 4409. That went up because of the body armor. So every 5 years we have to require, I don't know if we're required, but it's recommended that we get a new vest because the durability of the ones we have goes away a little. So that's what the quote I gave y'all. I didn't have time to get that quote when we turned it in, so there's that.
And that's, where did you put that?
It's 44.
That's probably went to the
4409?
wrong one,
Okay.
though. 4409?
Yeah.
It might have should have gone to the special, yeah. Which is 4408.
That's where it should be, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Other change. I added. Marcia, can you tell me how much the budget for the training was last year? 1,500.
Your regular training?
Correct. Right, okay, so that's gonna change. And the other change is the 5409, the radar. I took that off, I returned it. I don't use it as much as I should, if I need to. There's other ways to stop cars and run traffic. There's other ways to do that. And then the bonds, we added a bond for this year, January's, we get sworn in. I put $100 on it, we didn't know how much, we all put that in there. We don't know how much the bond was. 100?
Marcus's was 100 and we're changing bond, so it should be 100.
And those were the only changes that I had.
You up the automotive repair? Did you say why you up that? It went from 1,200 to 2,000. It is 4503.
I didn't write those down. I don't even remember writing this one down. Because I have my notes on here, but I didn't write it on. 4401 I changed. But I didn't change.
4503, it went from 1,200 to 2,000. Automotive road and equipment, repair and maintenance.
I think it was a budget adjustment. I think it was 2,000 and it got moved down
Down
to
that pulled down.
1,200.
Okay, because it's
Yeah,
2,000.
you're right, it was a budget adjustment. So you kept it flat.
So, yeah.
Okay.
And I also asked for a salary increase. I sent you guys a letter as well. It's in there detail of what I thought should be in there. I know probably speak about it.
Where y'all's, was your, no, did you propose a specific number in yours? I don't remember. What was y'all's numbers aligned or was?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
That's all I have.
On
I have
fuel,
no other questions.
on fuel and oil, is it literally just fuel? I mean, are you buying oil with that or what else goes in that line item
All
besides?
changes.
Okay.
And,
Like a small automotive maintenance, wear and tear stuff?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Constable Precinct 4.
All right, the rookie.
They'll do better than we do. Good afternoon. First of all, apologize. I do not have a copy of my budget, but really and truly that copy is pretty much everything they did, with the exception of two things. And one was for a vehicle, trying to replace the one I currently have, and for radio. So currently right now, the vehicle that I have is a 2016 Tahoe. It's got close to about 79,000 miles and extensive damage on just about every quarter panel. I know it's been struck from the front in a major collision, airbag deployment. But I think about, I'm not kidding, every quarter panel has damage on it, so it's in rough condition. Still rolls to the left and it pulls to the right, so you have to get the rhythm when you drive it.
Change your music.
How long have you been driving this thing?
You already did all that?
Somebody this roadway is in. I don't know if you want to break down what I had. I just looked at Enterprise as a lease, and they list a new vehicle at 58,000. The upfit is somewhere around 26,000. So together that'd be about 72,000.
58 and what?
$58,405 for the vehicle. And then roughly an estimate for the upfit for the vehicle, which includes the graphics and the lights and the grill guard and all that stuff on it, would be close to around 26,000.
Well, that's 84,000.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, he's got it.
Yeah, you said 76 or something like that. Not-
Well, yeah, it shows a total of 72, depreciation and all that stuff on it.
So you're proposing to purchase or to lease it?
So it's a lease, sir.
And all three vehicles were all purchased, right?
The new ones, yes, sir.
Kenny and I both have previous vehicles with leased. Purchased one, I think.
How many miles are on your vehicle now?
Close to 79. Park miles. Yes, very hard.
Church only.
60 to 0 several times.
60 to 0.
I mean, y'all just did that. Is it better to lease, better to purchase? Which, Marcy, any input?
My opinion is we gotta pick one and stick with it. 'Cause
Yeah.
I think it either, I mean, I think some of the benefits of leasing only work if we continue to do it
Correct.
for a number of years. That's just my opinion on it. And
No,
I think
and I
it would
agree with
simplify,
that.
everybody would know if we're either leasing or buying.
So the Aikens old vehicle, is that, we own it or lease it?
And Laura, you purchased yours or, so all three of them are gonna be purchased? I think in the long run it is, if you can take care of it.
I'm not a big fan of leasing anymore. Never have been.
I don't know if
I mean, the way you have it
that-
budgeted, we can do the purchase instead of under automatic purchase, so.
But I mean, we need to know
Mhm.
because so I mean, it does kind of matter.
So is there a timing reason you would go with the lease, or is it just,
Uh, In reality, when I got here, I had like 3 days to get this together.
Okay.
And so the information was given to me.
So the problem is what?
Yeah, so I mean, I don't, whatever I need to do, whether lease or buy.
well, I would suggest you buy, and then Marcia, then they'll have to account for the lease. And you've got it budgeted in your automotive purchase, so.
Are they able to find some at this point in time?
Well, I actually had a little bit with Marcus talking about that. He said, consider a lease just because it took you 2 years to get a new vehicle. And so I just threw the lease option out there because they're hard to come by. So, and I think that's where Marcus is coming from.
So are they able to get it and us not?
I'm not sure
We
because
don't.
I came in
Mhm.
finally and I just dropped I quit considering the lease options.
I know one of the benefits of this is the fact that you can get the upfit and all that stuff done, and we don't get charged until it's complete. And then it starts, yes.
That's on the lease program?
Correct. Which otherwise, you have to purchase the vehicle and then you have to send it off for several months to get it updated.
That's not actual?
Well, you pay half of it. I mean, we're not gonna start paying until we get the vehicle, but then you have to pay half of the upfit up front, and then essentially you're paying interest on the other half of the upfit. You know, because you're,
I mean, that's, we need to look in closer to see.
I think for like their vehicles, the sheriff office has gotten an arrangement with a Ringler, or whatever, and they'll do the vehicle and the upfit, where you don't have to take it like the Far West, they'll do the whole thing.
That's
as
the
a-
newest that they
Yeah, that's the
started.
newest thing. Yeah, that was after the.
Yeah.
Are they a buy board?
They're, yeah,
Sure.
one of the co-ops, I can't remember which one. And that package, like the upfitting package, all that was with it, so that, I think, would be the fastest way.
The purchase of yours, what did that add? Purchase and upfitting, was that covered in that 85, you think?
It was 59,000 and then 24,000.
60 and 24 is,
Yeah.
so we can go either way, so we're, okay.
Only other thing, on his rental, on the price they gave him, was taking that old vehicle and selling it. That's where they came up with this, the 70 something, I'm giving them like 13,000.
Have they seen it?
That's what I'm wondering. But anyway, so that was figured in that, so y'all.
Yeah.
County is paying them to take it.
Those 3 days Marcus was driving around like that.
So one other thing, Marcus, you have under radio service, LCR radio and service, it's a $5,000 budgeted versus 500 last year.
Yes, sir, that's to get a new radio. This one's falling apart. And I'm having trouble with it. I don't know how old this is or whenever you. Sorry? Yeah, maybe that too. I mean, as soon as I picked it up the first day, it's integrated.
Okay.
So do we buy the radio and we pay for the service as as a monthly payment? Is that how that works?
Marcus, also on, no, forget it. No.
Yeah, here's the radio. You can see there's a 5-year subscription, but it's mostly the cost of the radio. It's about $4,000.
On 4503, went up from $1,000 to $2,000 for automotive road and equipment repair and maintenance. If we're getting a new one, shouldn't that stay the same, or are you having problems today?
When will the new one get here?
Depends on when the new one gets here.
Okay.
Yeah, I saw that too, and I was thinking, well, the new one's not gonna get here right away, so he's gonna have to maintain the old vehicle.
You need 4,000.
I think some of that is for insurance, right?
Yes.
On that one, so there's $1,000 deductible. Is that on that line item? If something happens to your car, the insurance, they'll give us
Oh,
$1,000.
yeah, you need to put that in there somewhere. So he has all of those.
So that what we're saying, 1,000 of that is for that.
Nothing else here, sir.
I don't think so.
Hopefully
That's
you
all.
will be needing a vehicle next year. Hopefully you will. If you win the election.
If not, then give somebody a huge figure.
Yeah. Thank you, Marcus.
All right, county clerk.
What number, sir?
County clerk is tab 3. Thank you, gentlemen.
Guys, thank y'all.
So the only difference is in my budget this year,
I'm out.
Hang on. 403.
I'm ready whenever you are now, but I'm not sure about Commissioner Cromer.
I'm ready.
okay, so the only changes I have in my budget this year is my professional services. So Mary Lynn has been employed to do professional services right at 16 hours a week. And I'm requesting to up that to 24. So she's been making some good headway with some of our old records. She's going to start on our old oil and gas leases. It's been very beneficial for the ones doing the searches, all the people that title companies are very appreciative so far. But that would be the only increase. Then I added $500 to 4409. So we are in line with the state with regards to our birth certificates. So somebody that's born anywhere in the state of Texas can come to our office and get one. So we pay $1.83 per certificate. And so I put $500 in 4409 to cover those costs.
Yeah, so you actually have only $500 in 4409.
Right. I didn't have any last year. I transferred it because we came in after the budget was set doing it.
Okay, so you reduced it.
No, it should be 5. Did I say 400? It's 500, I'm sorry.
No, it's 500.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It is.
She moved a bunch of money in there.
Yeah,
Right,
last
yeah.
year you moved
Yeah.
money in, okay.
Yeah,
All right.
to cover.
And do you have open positions?
Somebody accepted the job today. For my last open position, I'm for a very long time.
So are the professional services needed if you fill all your positions?
Yes, because it's nothing to do with day-to-day operations. This is all of our old records, indexing, scanning, rescanning, and indexing a lot of stuff that transferred over. The indexes weren't done, so Maryland's going back and indexing all those old records. So it's very much needed, so.
Is that paid for out of general fund, or do you pay for that out of one of your specialty
It's
record?
the general, because right now, speaking of my specialty, so my Fund 29 and Fund 33, I put $63,000, so we have one more payment with co-file, and that will be the end of that for now. And then I'm gonna take about a 3-year
break to build up those funds again before I do any other projects, and then I can actually start using those funds more to do things like this, because records management should be able to pay for that. It does pay for a salary, for half of the salary. But right now, we've done so many projects, and so it's, I can't even tell you how much is in the moment, but I'm really hoping it should be enough, because I did the math, so we should have enough to cover the last payment for this year, and then I'm gonna take some years off to rebuild it.
So
Before I do things.
we can go back to the 4709, the professional services that you're putting at 24. Is that, what do you pay? Is the only thing you're going to pay out of there is Mary Lynn, or do you have other stuff in there too?
She's flexible, but she did ask if that would be, because she's making some good headway. And so I said I could put it in the budget and ask. I'm okay with it, just because I know what all she's doing. And I did put it in my request, the scope of work and things that she's been working.
So Lindsay, you do have on 4502, you went up 500. On 4902 training, you went up 500. But then on 6020, you went up to 83,000 and it was 7,500 last year.
So I have not been billed this year for, the money that was, put in that account last year. They don't bill me for the 82,000 that it was last year.
So what is that?
That's for WS.
It's for what?
WS, we're in a subscription, a 5-year subscription with WS, so that has to be under that. Subscription.
60/20.
What is that? What
So-
does double S do?
Is that in the 80/20 right to lease that for last year? Because there's not
Yeah,
that, I mean, you've only got a tiny bit in there from this year.
Last year, part of the budget, I budgeted whatever was year 2 on the schedule.
But did you budget it in 80/20 last year and you're moving it
No,
to
so I think
60/20?
I put it in the wrong one, NMRC, with the subscription, I put it in the, because I put it 6,005 last year, and I think you moved it.
Yeah, so the 60/20 is all the lease payments for the whole project. And I think that's your 460,000.
It started off that in 24,
Yeah, and 25,
25.
yeah, yes, sir. And so that's the whole thing, and then the actual payments go in 80/20 and 80/25. But you have to book the whole project.
So you said they haven't billed you yet this year,
Correct. I did ask
and
them
that covers this year's as well?
Yeah, the whole project was budgeted, and so I budgeted the amount last year, they did not bill me for it. And then this year, the amount is the 83,000 for the payment for this next fiscal year.
And what project is this?
This is for my WS system.
GovOS.
Well, it's actually new now, we used to call it WS,
It used to be what?
WS, but now it's Numo. New Momentum is the.
I'm getting more lost.
Yeah, yes, it's called Numo. We used to call it WS. But it's our official land records, birth, death, marriage, that's our program we use. Momentum was prior to them, yes. Yeah, Momentum is 2011, and we changed to 2018.
Back to Mary Lynn, does she have to be bonded or anything, or
No.
deputized, whatever? And she's going strictly all old files stuff?
do we have? Because I was looking at what we had in bed votes, and then it comes up to 81,000 or something. So almost 82,000
David.
on that one. So I feel like something.
Never mind.
So have we paid any of these years?
We've paid some of year one, and they were trying to get me to do Tyler Technologies, but it was gonna cost the county an extra $8,000 a year, and I told them no. And so, they never billed me for the balance, and I asked them about it, and he said, ah. So I was right in the middle of them buying somebody, so then I said, hey, we've not been billed for this year yet. I need to have it done before October or September 30th, and I've not heard back yet.
Yeah, because what's budgeted?
Yeah, so-
Year two amount.
And then I put for the next year, the 83, so this year's hasn't been paid yet. And so I'm waiting to hear back from.
So this
them.
was year two, really year
Is this
26.
Is this one?
So you would have budget both those two,
So you need that,
right? We need a budget for year 26, or the new bills.
you're supposed to bill us this year.
Oh, okay, so that will be fine, so I just need to do 27.
Just I've reached out, and I'm just waiting to hear back from them.
Okay, okay.
They wanted to give us free service, and okay with that. So do you need that document emailed, Marcy? Do you need this email or?
And did you want to talk about personnel requests at all?
Um,
If you're done with your department stuff, I don't know if you're done with your,
I don't know if you guys start to read that document that I submitted for requests. I attached visit to the county clerk's office.
We did go up to 500 on that fine, didn't we, Judge?
I think so. Yeah. Right after mine went up.
I would want that, right?
That's what's in here. Because I told him
I
it's
just
like-
don't know if we should budget that or if we use contingency. What's that? Okay.
So who has not billed, the previous provider or your current provider?
Yeah, so the first year we paid half of it up front, and it was 80,000 something. And then the first half we had to pay prior to, and then once they finished, they were supposed to bill us. And they wanted me to go to Tower Technologies and get something to connect the two together for our probate records. But I was gonna need a license for that specific thing, and it was gonna cost the county initially almost $18,000. Well, they were willing to pay that, which is probably good, but then every year after that, it was gonna cost our office $8,000 to keep that going. And I didn't feel like that was a good, contract to go into when our probate records are searchable and still used currently, so. And then they have not. Are you willing and I asked for that? ask, I will get some answers and then we can revisit that. I know what we do, but,
We own like $120,000.
and I told him, I reached out and I said, I'm an honest person, so I'm telling you that nothing will fill this. So he said, okay, we'll get back to you on that, and let me know. And I'm gonna go back.
You have to probably just get the
As far as the requests. I stated the reasoning for each one of those.
You have to speak closer to the mic.
I stated my reasoning on there for each one of those requests. I feel like it is feel like it's a good ask. I feel like our office does a lot, and so I feel like in my request, I think it was in here last year or something, we were giving the GPs $23 to start in their office, and each one of them is precinct based, and then, but it does take 5 of them to actually service the county with civil and criminal. So with our office, we do not just civil and criminal, we do probate guardianship, official public records, businesses, marks and brands, and we call ourselves a buffet, we have a lot of things that at any given time we would have to do. So that's why I requested those changes in pay. And right here on the request at that time, we had a vacant position, and it's still vacant until the court approves it. But we do have an accepted offer to start on January or July 20th. And that will be on the court's agenda for the 14th. I know it's a jump. I just asked if you
You got any questions about the personnel request? That's for everybody in the office, correct?
Yes, sir. I need to start reminding you. Any other questions for me?
I don't think so. Looks like it for now.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Oh, thanks.
You're so
All right, elections is next. Mr. Riley?
Jen. Will that work? Or is it you?
What?
Will that work when I sing? On your phone?
I'll find out, but oh, look, 3 images. I'll see how it
No,
works.
no. If not, you can borrow my copy.
Yeah.
Missing some notes that are somewhere between here and Nashville in my luggage. Was gone for the weekend and American failed me this time, so, but I think I have most of the thoughts down here of what I proposed. We're very much in the ballpark of where we've been. Postal expenses will go down about $7,000 and come back up the next cycle. And basically that's the every 2-year where we send the voter registration cards out. That's a big hit. Same thing with office supplies. We looked at a reduction there, fairly significant this time, primarily because next year's election cycle as busy as the November one will be. The spring might be calm. It depends on if the school board and the city have enough candidates to run the election. They contract with us now. There is a new item down, well, I'm looking at my own sheet, 6,002, 10,481, 6,002 of $6,100. Decided that we don't need, I'll tell you what that is, but I don't need everything that I planned. The heartbeat of our department are file cabinets that are these 8-drawer file cabinets. The drawers are about like this, and that's where everything comes from. We file everything by voter, and we're growing, and we need 3 of those. They're about $1,700 a piece. And I have that number more exactly in my luggage, as I said, but that's, instead of 61, we're looking at about 54. The other issue that will be coming up is 4502. We still show enough money to cover what will be brought to the Commissioners Court next week, which is the HAVA grant. We have, as you know, from past times, we were given $42,500. I've met with Jennifer. Yeah, I can see you here, and didn't see you there a second. And we're meeting again. I had some orders, if approved, but not delivered, not paid, not billed to us yet. So far, of about 28,000 of that. We are replacing all of the poll pads that we use for check-in, adding a few extras so that each of our precincts have at least 2 of those. We're required by law to offer a curbside voter the same access. And we are able to get away with that a little bit better now that the poll pads can be used as a signature receipt outdoors. It's just a nice touch instead of all the paperwork that goes into that. A drive-up curbside voter, some of our counties that we talk to, they put them on a cart and they roll them out, and with just the poll pad and that one of those NFL cases, you know, those little rotors, you see them on the sidelines, you can go out and do the same thing and meet the law with doing that. So some of our smaller precincts have only one poll pad, which means if they've got people indoors, somebody outdoors is going to wait. So we'll add those as part of that. And the met with Hart, and we're reviewing all the remaining equipment to see whether or not there's a need to begin the stair-step replacement of scanners and such that have a lifespan. And we're also talking to the IT department about adding a camera in both the file room and in the main room that would be centered above the area where central count takes place. In the notes, I definitely don't have involved some personnel requests. I don't know what I actually got to y'all, but as an essential, everybody's essential, but we were actually designated that by the government. We've got some folks handling some very privileged information. and I don't want to lose it. And you get competitive dollars, so I think, do you have that, Lindsay? Is that one of these ones you sent?
You asked for $2.50 for Lori and for Kit.
Yeah, and then I'd like some consideration to taking that third position, that's a half position full. May not be as necessary for this spring, but, next time we have the primary with all of that, the number of overtime hours was quite heavy this last time. We had back to back to back, and it felt like back to back to back on top of that, elections. So yes, I was looking at that. And then I'm gonna bring a note to you all about the confusion that is going on in paying clerks and judges. I'm not sure who came up with the original plan of stair-stepping. A rookie judge takes them 3 or 4 years to become a veteran judge according to that plan. That's not the way we need to work it. So we're gonna propose a fee for the judge and a fee for the clerk, and be done with it. If we get somebody who will come to training, they should make the rent. That's really what we have. Did I leave anything out? Should I read this yet?
Where are they paid out of your temporary employees line? The election workers, the temporary workers? Is that the
Yes.
line they're paid out of? Okay.
Yes.
So you've had 82,800 in the last several years budgeted. With the proposed change on those election employees, is that going to be still the same amount of money?
Well, if you look, the balance that I'm showing is that we haven't eaten that up in years past.
That's
I'm
right.
not expecting it to get beyond that with even a raise. Am I answering your question?
I'm not sure. Do you intend that to be 82,800 again is my question,
Oh, yes.
for the temporary employee budget?
Mhm. Yeah, I don't have the entry on those.
And what do you have in
I'm looking
mind?
at the number.
What do you have in mind as far as compensation adjustment? Is an increase and get rid of the stair step?
Judges to $13 and clerks to $12.
And what are they currently for those two?
Judges get 12, alternates and veterans get 11.50, rookies get 10.50. They all do the same amount of work. The only one that really does an extensive amount is the judge. So the clerks, the alternates are being paid the same. The other pieces, if one is designated the interpreter, the Spanish interpreter, they can have a 5% addition to their thing, but typically that's the judge.
All right. Anything else, commissioners, or anything else you want to present? Jim? Anything else you want to present?
No.
Any questions from the Commissioners Court?
Not at this time.
Yes,
I believe the request for your current part-time position in addition going to full-time was to increase that amount up to $20. So I think she's currently at 18, I think it's a $2 request.
I did request that. I remember requesting, that's a new employee. Well, yeah, baseline, I guess I did. You have it right there. Like I said, somewhere over Arkansas right now, it's flying to.
Kimberly,
Yes, yes. He requested for it to go to a full-time position and then to increase the pay to 20, is what the request
From
was.
18?
Yes, I believe so.
Any other questions?
I have no further questions.
No, sir.
Y'all good?
Thank you.
Thank you. Just in case y'all didn't notice, Cammie's here. She's back. All right, District Clerk.
What, did you say 6?
Or 22?
My department number,
Department 423.
So I originally put a proposal to increase it, but the 11,000 will have to be fine for that line item. It's also all based off of how many passports I do throughout the year. I mean, I can't determine how many I'm gonna get every fiscal budget because we're the only office that handles passports in this county. I mean, I have people who come from Travis County, and all of other counties that come get them. So that's why I asked for that increase there, but I'm fine with the 11,000 instead of what I originally put in there. And then the only other thing that I did, other professional services on 4709, I put 9,000 in that line item. That's to get me to cover my current contract for Mary Loeffler until the end of this year for the contract. And then with line item 5403, office equipment, that line item came, I figured I'd expense out through the auditor's office for the sharp expense, which I put in that line item 1,500. The auditor's office provided us information. The only other line item that I adjusted was 5609. I just got told by CoFile, after the information was to be inputted, that the unworked inventory that they currently have is going to be, they're estimating it to be about 204,363. And they already have this
204.
Yeah, 204,363.
Is that what you want to put in there?
That's what I was.
We want to put the exact estimate or?
I was 205 would be, I mean, that's what they already have the files, they picked them already up when they picked up the last session, and it, a lot of the amount that they're currently at.
So 5609 would be 205.
And are they still going to be collecting some on this year's budget? Because they haven't done much yet.
Yeah, so they've already invoiced us for 50%, and since I just got told they just finished what it was allotted, they're going to be invoicing us pretty soon for the remaining amount. And then the only other two items that I adjusted after that was 80/20. I got the exact numbers from the auditor's office, which was 2,556.16 2,556.16. And then 80/25, they gave me, the auditor's office gave me the numbers again, that was 250. And that's for the sharp printer that's in this building as well as the sharp printer that's out at the LEC building for the district courtroom.
So whatever was in 60/20, has that been moved somewhere else? Because you budgeted an amount there last year, or?
At least that's it.
It's kind of a funny amount. It looks like it's been pulled out of.
I think that's something that the auditors would have to.
Yeah, I think it's the new copy. It's just, it's in the first year.
Okay, so that moved up.
Yeah, that will be. Unless you have something.
No, I don't have any of those that I'm aware of. So that's all for those on that line items, and I have to get that personnel request stuff.
This insurance line you have, it's 5603. You know what you're spending that on?
That's for my crime policy that I have within my office, that, for any theft that occurs within my office as well as, external theft.
Okay.
Do you do the budget for the district court?
I do not.
You do, okay.
Can I see this?
On the co-file that we're talking about, is that nearing completion, or, I mean, how many more years do we have, or?
Actually, that will complete everything within my file room. The only thing that they've never put it on is my vault, which would be much more extensive, as that's more of a preservation job, as those are all these extremely old files.
Okay. Any other questions on the operation?
No, sir.
Did you want to talk about personnel?
I submitted all the requests for,
Thank you.
what I'm requesting. This is just evidence to show what I pulled from other counties. So I pulled some counties that are Kerr County, Van Buren County, Wayne County, Kendall County, Burnett, Kimball, Blanco, Mason, and Menard County. I do have still one vacant position within my office that's not filled. But otherwise, my office handles three courts. Full function essentially. I mean, I do felony, civil, family for the 216, and then I do juvenile, civil, family for the court law. Coincide with Kerr County, they handle the 198 and the 216, and they have 9 deputies within their office. And I have 5. For Deb, who's my chief deputy, I'm asking for her amount to be a max allotted rate of $28.50, but to pay her at $26 per hour. And then for Kim, who's been in the filming office for 23 years, for her to pay $28.27 per hour. And then go for Mandy and Jennifer a dollar raise for each. And then the vacant position, so essentially just COLA.
So which of these employees did you give a midterm raise to?
Mandy and Deb,
Andy and Deb was the only two.
yes, sir.
So the vacant position is an existing vacant, it's not a new position yet.
It's not a new position, it's the
It's been
position within my office.
Okay. So the stuff you handed out, are you gonna tell us what you believe you're seeing here or what?
I mean, essentially, I listed it from the highest pay to the lowest. Literally. And I pulled at least, for what I could find, at least 2 years worth for each county. I mean, Montgomery County, their chief deputy is getting paid $67,227 salary. Deputies, for Kendall County, they have 9 deputies in Kendall County. And so one of those is their chief, so it makes it 8 deputies, and that line item is $435,305. Granite County, which is the next county that I did, next highest, for all of their deputies. She has 6 deputies, all ranging from different amounts, from 74,000 to 53,000 in salary. I did Kerr a little differently, one because I believe that we're essentially similar. We have the 216th district judge that comes from Kerr County, and you can just step over to Kerr County and does stuff in Gillespie, just to show the fact that my full-time salary is, for all my nephews combined, that amount is $237,921 for Kerr County. It's $438,687. They have 9 deputies doing 2 courts just as well as I do full-time. The next one with Encourage is to show that that's the farthest back I could get on budget. And that was $341,000 is what they were budgeted for that. So we're not even close to pay for between Kerr and the Gillespie County.
You said they have 9?
They have 9 deputies, yes. Plus the clerk, which makes it 10 total. And then I went into doing Bandera County just to show. Bandera County actually has 6 deputies and 1 clerk, so makes it actually 7. So that county has 2 more than me, I believe. And their full salary rate for a court coordinator within their office, because they have one as a court coordinator, is $68,995, and then the clerk is budgeted at 49. Right. Clerk is 162,000, and then the chief deputy's at 49,000. So I just grabbed surrounding counties that were here and close to our, that we work hand in hand with, and then that were similar in size and population as best I could.
Any other questions or discussion on the district clerk's budget?
No, sir.
Anything else?
No.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Tax assessor hanging around in the, there she is, all right.
I love the day.
We're doing well, thank you. Tax assessor collector. What's the department number?
493.
All right, whenever you're ready.
Okay. So on the first review, basically we're looking at, I guess, our postage, we're looking at something down on that of like $400. Anticipation we went up last year was because of all the new rules and regulations the state was putting on us. So we looked at what we spent and we're anticipating we could probably get by with going hopefully 400 less, even if we were having to implement a few more laws and regulations come January 1st again with what people are doing with the ordinance. The other one is, do you want the number before 309? Is that what you want? That one is still at 5,000. That's still just our supply shredding and everything else that we're doing in the office. So that one pretty much stayed the same. And then 4409. Last year we added that 4,940. We're looking at probably $650. The only really changes we need in that one are we have 2 chairs that we're looking at probably having to implement and change, which we're figuring 650 roughly, depending on the types of chairs that we can get from the office. The other one is 4502. That one would basically be the same. There's no changes on that one. The only thing is last year we had for a desk. This one is probably for upgrading one of our copy machine or printers that we in the office at our workstation, basically for doing our bank paperwork and everything on that. So it's kind of a high number that we're looking at, but we're going to get a decent copy machine that sits at that workstation and not using Sharp as much for that one. Okay, without any other questions. Okay, 4601. That one is basically the same. That is our QuickBooks. I do not see that there's an increase in the QuickBooks, and the TAC membership dues are staying the same on our part. 4902. That one is basically staying the same. I don't see any increase on our amount of going to classes and conferences that we are taking. It doesn't seem like there's going to be a major increase from last year. I think there's will be some money left in the budget for that one. The item 5403. Last year we did not have anything in this one. This was the Sharp copy machine. So the number that's on there is roughly kind of looking at what our monthly expenses were for the year to finish out for next year. $5601. This one we still have at $3,000, and that's just for our bonds for the office. There are some counties that do have their chief deputy that is also funded, which we might look into that. I don't know if it's still a requirement at this time to do. Otherwise, it's just my bond that is on here at this time. The 5602, that one was another bond that we had to collect, actually, I'm sorry. Actually, there's two of them. So the first one I gave you, let's go back on that one. This one, the 5602, is technically just the tax assessor collectors membership dues. The other one, I'll go back to that. Sorry, the 4601 is actually just the QuickBooks. It's primarily what that one is coming out of. There's our QuickBooks. The other one that y'all are looking on there is the 5609. That one is new, $100,000. This is basically, I know there's some needing to clean up upstairs to get rid of some of those heavy books and get them digitized, transfer over into saving them onto the disk records. We cannot find any of these saved anywhere because these are the old tax rolls. So this is kind of our inheritance from when they collected the taxes that we were trying to figure out how to downsize, digitize, where we can go with this. I just talked with a couple of companies, which you see what the district and the county clerks are paying for restoration and all of this stuff, that it's expensive. But we cannot find good copies at this point in time, just with the technology we have to look at. We don't have tape drives to read the tapes anymore. We don't have some of the CDs. What they say is on there, I'm not finding on the CD, so it's one of those, I'm not sure without hiring a company to come in and look at all the data that we have saved, if any of it is salvageable to use for retaining those records. This is something y'all are more than welcome until we get more information to table it and look at it more in detail of what it is that we can actually put all on digital and what we can, basically, once we get it digitized, if there's anything that can be destroyed.
Okay, I got a couple questions.
Okay.
4502, you have $1,200 for a new laser printer. Is that, do I read that right?
Yes.
Okay, that's under repair and maintenance. I would assume that should really go, which one? 4309. So that's just a move. It should be a capital purchase or equipment purchase.
4309.
Which number did you say? 43.
It's got 5,000 in now.
There you got the 6,200.
So on the 4902, training and travel, I mean, you have 7,500 in there. Historically, the most you've ever used has been 3,650.
So when I came in, I was going only to these conferences. So now I'm taking somebody else along with us to go to these conferences. So then you have the expense of the conference fees and doing this. So I'm trying to get more of the lady in the office to go to these, so they know kind of, and they have what's going on in their office, instead of me just going and saying, hey, this is what we did. We all have different questions, we all work in different things, so I'm trying to get some of them to go to a couple of workshop stations and stuff like this, just they get more hands-on things and they can talk with others and figure stuff out that's going on here. So that's kind of why it was low, because I was the only one going, and I was like someone else going. Sometimes you go to these courses and you got this one over here, and you got this one over here, and then you need two people to go to the different classes that they're offering.
That is the question. Okay, so the only other thing I saw is that, there's nothing filled in on 5001 ads and legal notices. It's empty as far as I see, unless it got filled in between last week.
And you've
You've
been no
had 350
expenditures.
in there for the last several years, but you've never.
Sorry.
It's ads and legal notices, like if you have to put anything in the newspaper, any kind of notices. But you've had no expenditures for several years out of that.
I leave it
No.
zero.
We really have not had any. I did not over your meeting.
Okay, so we're leaving zero then.
Ads in.
Okay.
I mean, just.
I mean, if you have something, you can also move some money.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like one of those things, some of these I kind of left because I didn't know exactly in the past what fell into that category. So that's why I went out and still just kind of hanging in there.
Any other questions from the Commissioners Court?
Yeah, I guess the digitizing of old documents, are these documents were required to pertain?
From my understanding, all the tax rolls and levies are required to be retained.
Okay.
And some of these, they're still on the old green bar. So it's kind of like trying to find, like I said, I was going through some of them, but like I said, there's all the different tape drives that there's no way for us to read it. And that's what, talking with a couple, and they do have, these companies do have their way of reading all these different types of tapes and drives and everything.
So they would convert them to a digital file that would be made public, or we would just have access in the tax assessor's office to go retrieve them if needed?
So it's kind of one of those, I believe we could put some of these like in the archive records, basically in the state library part, to where some of those are more publicly available as well. Like I said, I'm kind of just getting into this part of it all, trying to figure out what we can do and how we can do. So it's kind of been, like I said, heads up kind of deal. If you don't do it for this year, it's just kind of a heads up of what we're looking at. And I just know what others have said they have spent on doing this.
Do you have another special fund that this could come out of, or you don't have one of those?
Unfortunately, with doing DMV state funds or anything, the only thing we are looking at is getting back into probably the liquor applications. If we, I mean, but it's like that money's gonna go into the county funds. I mean, because like all of ours, we don't get anything per se. We work for the county and we work for that. There's nothing that we get to collect and keep running in the office for us. So that was the only thing that there's extra money in, which looking at the liquor part of it, I don't know that that's really gonna be a big deal because a lot of these places are complying with like the state had on, I can't remember what the legislature rule was on that one. The 3-part 6 basically is what we call it, that we can't collect that money from them. Yeah, there are additional fees. We can't tell everybody, hey, we're adding $5 to your vehicle registration because we need to preserve the tax roll record. So I'm trying to find out when all that went out down with the county and the appraisal district, if there's anything in their paperwork that said maybe by chance they would take over all of the records. But I haven't found that original contract to see if there's anything. It would be nice if that was stated in there, then I could just hand it all over to them and let them lay it out.
So our Fund 28, Judge, County Records Management Fund, is that specific to clerk's office, district clerk? I'm just wondering, and if that is that something we get from the state
I think that comes off the filing fees.
filing fee? So it's
Who's this
specific to
28? Is that county clerk or is it?
28. So 29 is county clerk records management, and then 28 is just county records management. That is the name. I don't know what they're specific to.
How much is it?
We don't have anything in it. We budgeted 35 last year. I don't know what the fund holds.
So, county clerk, district clerk.
That's specific to those two.
And that over there so we can hear them as well.
That's where the money comes from.
Have a mic. We can share a mic right here.
Yeah, we don't have room for a mic.
Okay. I have no further questions for the suspect. You do have some, first investment requests, huh?
Okay, so they're ready to do what we were taught to, like,
I can't hear you. What?
you couldn't tell if they're looking at something else or if they're looking at.
I was researching that fund.
Okay.
Keith's playing solitaire, I think.
Tell me.
Oh,
Did you have any personnel requests that you wanted to discuss?
Yeah, so I did put in there for, looking at other offices and their fees of their employees. I do have basically, we have two chief deputies basically in our office. One of those basically, the major of our rates is the bookwork part of it, so we don't have to bother other people with our bookwork. So we are putting out paying for $23 an hour for the two clerks, which is Judy and Joanne. Jennifer and Teresa, I was requesting them to be at $19.50 an hour. And then Natasha, which is the newest employee, would be $18.80.
Any questions or discussion from the commissioners?
no.
All right, anything else?
No, I'm good.
All right,
All right, thank you.
thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Have a great afternoon.
We're a little ahead of schedule. Can you go ahead? Think you ready to roll?
Sure.
You want to go ahead and put yours in the vacant slot we've created? we're going to move to Veteran Services.
Have it on the slides if you don't want to see it in color. The slides.
I think take that sheet out. So I can see it easier.
It's not as long as this is.
Yes. You just got this one.
It's got a nice cover letter.
Thank you.
I'm gonna break your equipment here.
I don't know. Take it out.
It's basically the same format as last year. Better format, but same data.
Thank you.
Department 4 or 5.
Our biggest department, 2.
There you go, in case you want to follow along. All right. You get that from right order. So we're going over it. There we go. Ooh. Hey, good afternoon. Veteran Service Office, code 405. Probably your smallest budget. The veterans definitely appreciate that. The first slide is just a overview of the key points in the slide, so I'm not going to talk over that. It's just the key points that we'll go over that in the next couple of slides. I just want to give you a brief overview of the office because our office is unique. I think it's unique at least. Next one is interactions. So interactions are our daily communications and interactions with our clients, which are mainly veterans. Some of them are spouses of veterans. Some of them are just people trying to also support veterans. The main one is we review records. Right now, I'm the only accredited VSO in the office, and you'll see later on, I think most of y'all know I'm losing my assistant later this month. So that's, we'll talk about that later on the slide. But all these interactions, most of them are me because I'm the only one who's officially accredited to do a lot of these interactions. Okay. The next slide, 230 unique interactions. So that's when we actually have the person who books an appointment comes into the office. It's about the same number as last year, but we had 2 people doing it last year. All these numbers on this page is me. So not to put a spotlight on myself, just to let you know the need when it arises from my next assistant. Of those 230 veterans, I broke it down by the eras they served, which I thought was compelling that this year, I think it's the first time that we've seen Gulf War era overtake Vietnam. So we're starting to see, unfortunately, we're losing veterans from the other eras, but in a good point, we're gaining some younger veterans to the community. And you can see based on those numbers, Gulf War and Vietnam are the majority of my customers. The next slide is the branches that these customers served in. Of the top 2, that represents 70% of my clients, which are Army and Navy. A lot of Navy in this town, but Army by far is the most. So that's just for your information. The next slide, the most important thing I believe my assistant does, other than the claims itself, is that person is the one who runs the grave side, the flags and the graves. We do that every Memorial Day week. And Jim, my current assistant, he did a great job. He modernized that system, and the next person should have an easier time. We had 67 volunteers that assisted to place almost 1,500 flags. That's between the city cemetery, Durstop, and Greenwood. That's been going on for as long as I've known. Definitely a great program. Everyone enjoys doing that and seeing the flags out there. We also do Memorial Day ceremony out front here at the War Memorial. The Nimitz Rotary also provides breakfast to everyone. This year was a very large attended. It was nice to see a good crowd out there, and most people say that was the biggest one they remember seeing in a while. Down below, you can see some other ones we did. We just did the 4th of July. This was the first year, I think, the veterans had 2 floats. We had almost 60 veterans on 2 floats. That's the DFW, the council, which I run the council for Gillespie County, and some other volunteers helped do that. So that was a really, really good to see everyone out there supporting everyone. The POW ceremony and the Vet Fest, those are other things that we also do around this town. Vet Fest is a big event for veterans. That's the first Saturday of November. All right, so might have got out of order here. What's your next? Okay, all the paper. I mean, everything was paper in there. So we got everything digitally. It didn't cost the county anything. We just did it on thumb drives and hard drives. That way, if a veteran family ever comes back after a veteran passes, we have a lot of the stuff that they may be looking for. This year, I focused on the emails. The way the previous VSO was doing it worked for her, but it was very time consuming. To send out email, you can't do it without getting a lot of spam kickbacks. And then when stuff gets kicked back, you don't know why it got kicked back. Could be because the person quit the job or died. We started using Constant Contact, which the IT department told me about, and it's really been helpful. I can now send out 1,000 emails in one push of a button, and I'm only getting about maybe 35 kickbacks, and it tells me why they're kicked back. And so it saves a lot of time and also allows me to put a lot of information out there in a way that people can get it, without having to put like PDF documents and stuff. So those, you probably notice the difference. It's been really helpful. Okay, now the line items. Postage, I continually don't use much postage, but I wanted to keep it on there. Postage is 4301. I literally only used maybe $2 and something this year. And I figured I'd reduce it to 50. It started out at like, I think 100 or 200 last year or the year before. And I'm just trying to stay digital. I try not to send stuff to the mail. Office supplies, I was about to reduce that, but then when I started Constant Contact, that's $85 per month. Plus my software that I use falls in this category, the 4309. So between those two items, that's almost $2,000 for the year. So that leaves me with just $1,000 for basic office supplies, which I think we can get by on. I wanted to keep it at 3 this year. It might go down a little bit next year. The travel, I reduced that by 1,000, and I think I really could probably get down even lower, but I really hadn't had a full year with 2 employees yet, so I want to just see where it goes next year. When you first hire someone in this position, it requires a lot of mandatory training. That's costly, so the first year you hire someone, it's going to be more than the rest, so you might be able to drop it next year. I recently did start using the vehicle, the county vehicle when I go out of the county. I don't do out of the county much, but I figure that's probably saving $50 a month there. So, the copier, I put a note on it for auditor's office. We started out with a lot of copies on the contract the first year. I reduced it by a third, I think last year. I think we can reduce it again because we were way off of what we were allowed. I think we could probably reduce it by another 1,000 per month, 1,000 copies. So that's the office equipment, I believe. And the dues, they stay the same. There's no change in dues. So any questions on any of those line items?
You have telephone is not filled in, but I'm assuming that's 0 because it was 0 last year.
Yeah. I took off anything that was 0 or I had no control over, like some contracts.
I have no questions.
No questions? Okay. I think the next one is just analyzing the budget you just saw. Is basically all those numbers roll up to a 10.5% decrease. So trying to be, trying to get the budget more where it should be since I took over. Just on the right side, you see where that 10% is being saved. It's county vehicle utilization, the accreditation costs, and just being, trying to be wise with the money. All right, what's the next slide? I think I got it. Okay, last slide. Okay, so that's pretty painless. The last slide was like I said, I think most of y'all know that Jim, my assistant's leaving. And, let me get that slide too. Here it is. Okay, so he'll be leaving July 24th. I've asked HR to, if I could at least put it out there a little bit earlier this year. It did take about 6 months this last time to hire someone. It's hard to get someone who kind of checks all the boxes. I'm trying not to be too picky, but I at least want a veteran or a veteran spouse, you know. And it took, as the commissioner saw, it took a while. We had someone early on that was pretty good, and that person backed out, but then we got Jim, and it took about 6 months to get Jim. And so I don't mind, you know, doing it by my, solo, but it'd be nice to get someone a little quicker. So I'm trying to put the word out. I believe that's going to come up in the next commissioner's court. So that will be July last year when I lost Ryan, and then losing Jim this year, July. So realistically, it takes 6 to 9 months to train someone, and I had no say on that because of the state and VA are the ones responsible for accrediting. So if I hire someone even quicker than last time, it's going to be another year before I come off of doing all the work in the office. So that's how I came up to the number. I, dual role for almost 2 years straight. I just put in 4%. I thought that was fair, but that comes out to $1.35. And I'm going to try to keep the Jim's current position at the same rate as he had, because it's just hard to get, as we saw in the past, it's hard to get someone who is eligible and qualified to take that role.
So that his current pay rate is $20.94 an hour?
I believe, yes.
Yeah, and you're good with leaving the new position at that rate? Or?
I'm good, unless we have someone who's already qualified. I would like to be able to go up a little bit, but it's very rare. I want to put it out to the Texas Veterans Commission and just, you get people interested, but then like this last time we had people from Colorado applying. It's like, where do you come? What do you know about this area? They had no clue, had no house, no family here. So you get a lot of people interested, but it comes down to actual qualified.
Steve, not budget related, but just because it speaks highly of you. So last year we got $27.7 million benefits to veterans in the Gillespie County.
Oh, I'm sorry, I missed that.
You missed that slide. I think that's a very important slide.
A very important slide, yes. I'm glad you said that. Yeah, the 27.7 million is the overall, that's the healthcare, the VA home loans, the GI bills that come into this county, just this county. But of that 27 million, almost 17 million is actual pay, and that's the money that hits every month to a veteran who lives in this county. It's tax-free, and it's spent here in the county mainly. So this year, I'm glad you brought this up. I think I didn't even say what we did. We're almost $1.6 million of claims I did. Those 230 claims I've done, it's resulted so far in 1.6 million. That's new money. That's not included, but 16.6 million. So this comes out every October. So this October we'll get a new updated one, but this number here represents a 4% increase for the veterans. So that's not just me, but it's
so the number of veterans served that you said was what, 234, I think?
230, yeah, actually came in for interviews.
So
yes, it's staying the same. We're seeing younger veterans.